Have you ever looked at a bright child, maybe even your own, and wondered why they work so hard, but just can't seem to keep up in school? Well, if that sounds familiar, you're in the right place. We're going to look at 3 common learning disabilities. But what's really important is the hidden connection between them. Uncovering that is the key to finding the right support. This quote from Leah Skinner just gets right to the heart of it, doesn't it? It's such a powerful reminder that when a child is giving it their all and still struggling, that's not some flaw in their character. No way. It's a signal, and our job is to figure out what that signal means. All right, first up, let's talk about dyslexia. What is it at its core? It all comes down to how the brain processes language. So, what is dyslexia really? Well, it's a neurological thing. It affects how a person handles language, which makes reading, writing, and spelling incredibly tough. And let's get a couple of things straight right now. It is not a problem with their eyes, and it has absolutely nothing to do with how smart they are or how hard they're trying. You know, what's really fascinating is that dyslexia isn't just a school problem. I mean, sure, in the classroom you see the classic signs like trouble sounding out words or mixing up letters. But it doesn't just stop when the bell rings. It can pop up in everyday life, like struggling to remember a grocery list or even just telling left from right. But here's the good news. We know what works. The research is so clear on this. Specific, really structured approaches make a huge difference. We're talking about things like phonetic-based teaching and proven programs like the Wilson Reading System. These things systematically build those language skills they need from the ground up. Okay, next up is dysgraphia. You know, if you've ever met a kid who can tell you this incredibly detailed, amazing story, but then can barely write a single sentence, you've probably seen dysgraphia in action. It's all about that frustrating gap between knowing something and being able to write it down. And this definition is just so important. Dysgraphia is a written expression disorder. The biggest clue isn't just messy handwriting, okay? It's the huge, glaring difference between what a student can say out loud and what they can manage to get down on paper. And this slide just illustrates that gap perfectly. See, on the left, that's what a student can say. You know, these detailed, organized, brilliant thoughts. But then look at the right. That's what they can write. Maybe just a couple of short sentences that don't even begin to cover what's in their head. The ideas are there. It's like the bridge to the page is out. So how do we help them build that bridge? Honestly, simple tools can be a game changer. Just using a keyboard can take away the whole physical struggle of handwriting. And on top of that, structured writing programs like IEW can systematically teach them how to get those amazing thoughts organized and out onto the page. And finally, let's touch on dyscalculia. This one gets dismissed all the time as just being bad at math. But oh, it is so much deeper and more fundamental than that. Dyscalculia is really a core difficulty with something called number sense. It's about that basic ability to understand what numbers even mean and how they relate to each other. So this doesn't just mess with math class. It can affect their whole understanding of time, space, and how much of something there is. And just like the others, its impact is everywhere. In school, yeah, it's trouble with counting or getting concepts like more versus less. But look over on the right side. In real life, it shows up as trouble with money, always being late, or even getting lost easily and struggling to keep a schedule. So to make math make sense, we have to make it real and tangible. Structured, multisensory approaches are the answer here. Using things they can touch and see, like blocks and graphs, helps them actually feel the numbers. And yes, a calculator is an absolutely crucial tool. It lets them focus on solving the problem, not just getting stuck on the basic math. Okay, so we've looked at dyslexia, dysgraphia, and dyscalculia one by one, but now we get to the real aha moment of this whole explainer, the hidden connection, and why you so often see these 3 showing up together. We have a habit of treating these like they're 3 totally separate issues, but that's a huge mistake. They aren't separate problems at all. They're just different ways that the same underlying brain wiring shows up. And wow, this slide just makes it crystal clear. I mean, look at these numbers. Nearly half, 47% of kids with dyslexia also have dysgraphia, and 40% also show signs of dyscalculia. This kind of overlap isn't just common, it's practically the norm. This is not a coincidence. Just let that sink in for a second. What does this really mean? It means that dyslexia, dysgraphia, and dyscalculia aren't different trees. They're all branches growing from the exact same neurological roots. And that is the key to understanding why a child might be struggling in so many different ways all at once. So what do we do with all this information? Well, it means we can finally stop guessing and start knowing. It shows us the real path to support that actually works.
This is exactly why hiring a tutor for just one subject often doesn't work. Think about it. If you get a reading tutor for a child who also has dysgraphia and dyscalculia, they're still fighting a battle for most of their school day. You're only helping with one piece of a much, much bigger puzzle. So the path forward becomes pretty simple, right? Step 1, we have to recognize the signals we've talked about. Step 2, we have to understand the connections between them. And finally, step 3, we need to find comprehensive support that helps the whole child, not just one isolated struggle.
Look, getting a diagnosis, that's a huge first step. It's so important, but it's not the final destination. The real goal is to have answers that make sense of the entire picture. So I'll leave you with this to think about. If the labels you've been given still don't feel like they explain everything, what